All right, for the first time in 3 successive games, Manchester United have won a football match this season. It has never happened throughout the season where we've won consecutive 3 games. Kwame mentioned that 2025 will be a good year for us. Well, it looks like that is where we are right now. Thank you very much for joining us on United and Everything Football. My name is Kwame Bafo. I'm here with Kwame and Chubwesi. Thanks very much for joining us. We beat FCB. Kwame, which country are they from? Is it Romania?
Star Bucharest, Romania. A former Champions League winner.
Yes,
Did you see their typo? Their typo at the beginning of the game. Yeah, they're flexing. Arsenal can never say that. They're flexing.
You had to say that. Well, thank you very much. Remember to subscribe to the channel. You see a lot of you watching. And when I check my analytics, I see a lot of people not subscribing. You come and watch and you go. Is it fair? Is it fair? Just pause the video, hit the subscribe button. And not just that, all of you watching now, please pause the video and hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button now. It's very, very important for us. All right, so let's make a quick turnaround. When I come back, I'll get to Kwame. We'll delve into the game. There's a few more issues to discuss. Some transfers, some other issues. We are getting closer to the deadline. What are some of the issues that are coming up? We'll be talking about that. I will open your eyes to a few more things here on United and Everything Football. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you very much for staying with us here on United and Everything Football. Thank you very much for subscribing, for liking and commenting. Please remember to share the videos with your friends and everyone around. We are very grateful. Kwame, let's get straight into action. And before that, for those of you who don't know the answer to the quiz question, the answer is Edwin van der Sar. Edwin van der Sar. Some of you were mentioning some very strange names in the comments, but majority of you had it right. So he's that player that had won 4 Premier League titles, had won the Champions League with us, had played with Louis Saha at Fulham and at Manchester United. And the person we are talking about is Edwin van der Sar. He retired in 2011. I think after the Champions League, or before the Champions League final, after the 2011 Champions League final, right? The one that they made Alex Ferguson's handshake at Wembley. If you remember so well. Barcelona, God will judge you 2 times. They stood in our way from equaling or having the 5 Champions League. Kwame, let's get into the game. The table is up. We are third in the table, in the final table. We won all our games. We won. Ruben Amorim won all his games in the Europa League ever since he came. He won 5 games. We never lost any.
No, he won 4. Ruud van Nistelrooy
won 1.
Our first game in the competition.
Exactly. So that's how he was so pivotal in trying to ensure that we finish in top 8 to avoid any chance of a playoff. But I don't know if you've seen the teams that we are likely to play with. I've seen Real Sociedad. What else?
Yeah, Midtjylland, Galatasaray, and
I think AZ Alkmaar. These are the teams that we are likely to meet. So we'll see. They are going to engage in the playoffs, and then we'll see how it goes with regards to that. Kwame, let's get straight into action. The game happened 2-0. Kobbie Mainoo in a new role. I mean, let's digest everything.
So the first talking point is the lineup.
Yeah.
You just mentioned Kobbie Mainoo. He started as a 10. I think he came on against Fulham in the last 10 minutes in the same position, and he was involved in that Ahmad goal that was ruled out for offside. A lot of people pointed out to us that, I think someone even commented on in the comment section about Kobbie Mainoo's role, especially in that game. That why don't you keep him in that position? And yeah, the coach started him today in that exact same position. But it's a position that he's played in at academy level. I mean, he's played so many positions at academy level, but even before he broke into the team, he was playing the number 10 position for them. If people can cast their mind back to the Europa Youth League that we were playing just before he got his first proper run in the first team. He was in the number 10 position, with Toby Collier playing in behind him. I don't know whether we can project that lineup, but then I think I have it somewhere. I've seen it somewhere. Yeah, so it's not an unfamiliar position to him, but boy, oh boy, did he boss it today. It was fantastic. You know, he's got this jink, this ability to shield the ball. He can drop his shoulder. Yeah. He doesn't have to cover so much ground, so much space. All he has to do is run in behind the defense and just do some damage. It was outstanding.
He's very good on the ball. That's the most important thing.
He's fantastic. The thing is, sometimes you stumble on something, yeah, when you're trying to, fit in pieces that don't fit. You're trying to discover what is wrong with the team, what's the problem, and all of a sudden you stumble on something and it works. I think he stumbled on a number 10. Mason Mount is out for quite a while. I don't know when he's returning. If Kobbie Mainoo maintains this form in this position, I think long-term wise, we should even consider him as a possible 10. See, even before today, there have been people who had been suggesting that why don't we drop him into the 10 position, because in the center of the park, he simply cannot cover enough ground. He doesn't have the legs. You can see sometimes it's very labored in trying to track back or run back, that kind of thing. But in an advanced position, he will do a job. I guess those people who are clamoring for such have actually been vindicated. They were right, because he fits in like a glove today. Man of the match, a goal and an assist, the youngest Manchester United player to ever do so, I think. And the youngest to do so since Wayne Rooney in 2004. So, yeah, a milestone there, an achievement there. And what else was peculiar about the lineup? Yeah, Toby Collier started in the middle of the park in the first half alongside Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. And let me say something about Toby Collier. If you do remember I think we did it with Akomia, when we were talking about the young star who could break through this season. I was one who suggested that Toby Collier could be one to watch out for. Yeah. But when he didn't make it under Ten Hag for various reasons, being played out of position, not being trusted, injuries and all that, and Ten Hag got sacked, I was more like, I don't think he's going to get a kind of chance that he wants. So that will probably be it. And considering the fact that we have issues with respect to PSR and we need to sell homegrown players, I had him up this winter as one of the players that we could sell to get some points, But like I was saying, sometimes you stumble on something. Events dictate that Casemiro and Eriksen have sort of been sidelined in a way, And Toby Collier's legs have come of great use to the manager, and he's decided to stick with him rather than it's almost like as if you have to plan for the future now rather than look to the past. So Casemiro is frozen out. Eriksen got a run in the number 10 position, but he struggled in the first half. He only got better when he dropped deeper in the second half. The other issue that we had in the first half was the fact that our wing backs were not attacking properly. Dalot on the right wasn't doing so much. But even worse on the left-hand side was Taro Malacia. There was noise that Taro Malacia could leave. I think he should leave. See, it's not going to work. There's a very stark difference between playing left back and left back. There was even more pressure on him based off the fact that he's not played football in a long time. He's just having ups and downs. I think he should just go somewhere where he can play consistently and
with less pressure.
So that he can get his fitness up, and hopefully in the summer, when he's of great value, we can get something for him, because I don't think he's going to hold a place in our side going forward. But that was it. We're not troubled so much. The back line was made out of Lisandro Martinez, who was exceptional in the first half. Best player for me in the first half, because he was playing these looping balls over the top, these fantastic balls over the top, which was causing Steaua Bucharest a lot of trouble. A couple of those balls for Mainoo, of which I felt he should have scored one. I think he played one for Mainoo at first.
Yeah, there was one where they set up for Mainoo that he ballooned over the bar. Yeah.
The ball was played over the top for Højlund to run onto. The only time he made a run away from a defender rather than be fighting and struggling with defenders all night. He laid the ball on for Mainoo, and Mainoo skied the ball over the top. And then I think he played one over the top for Højlund himself. But then it went a very weak header towards the goalkeeper. In the first half, we created enough chances to score, but then the urgency and the speed and then the certainty wasn't there.
I mean, wouldn't you put down to the personnel, because Mainoo is not the fastest, Eriksen is not the fastest, So you are, and Højlund is doing his own thing. So you are left with.
No, I don't think it's a personal issue. He said something very, very telling in his press conference in midweek. He was asked whether he's made any progress with this team, and he said he sees the progress because he watched back our game against Fulham, and position-wise, that's not a problem. But there are certain automatisms that he expects based off the fact that players are supposed to know what each other is supposed to do at certain points in time. You don't have to think about it, but our players are thinking about it because they haven't trained enough with each other in the system, and they are sort of trying to make sure, oh, this person is doing this before I pass the ball, rather than expect the person to do it to pass the ball anyway. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's almost, it seemed a bit slow, ponderous. It doesn't seem automatic. It doesn't seem fluid. And I think the fact that our striker doesn't hold the ball up and our wing backs were struggling was also a problem. I've always said that those two main factors defeat the system. If your wing backs aren't going to be attacking wing backs, flying wing backs, causing problems in opposition third, and your striker doesn't hold the ball up, it's sort of, the whole thing doesn't just come together that way. But the changes that he made in the second half actually put us right on top of Steaua Bucharest. I wouldn't want to play down the quality of the position, but I felt whilst watching the game that after the first half, we have sort of measured them.
Yeah.
They've thrown their biggest punches, and then the only chance they had was from a set piece, a free kick, and they played. And I was like, this team is very, very limited. And if we step up or just go up
a little bit more,
just a little bit, that would just be it. And the changes that he made actually did the job. Bringing on Garnacho and Ahmad, he put Ahmad a wing back to stretch the play on the right hand side. Took off Malacia, who was having a mare, and then played Dalot over there, right? But Garnacho would always want to hold the width, so Dalot was rather moving into the inside, which is far more comfortable with than playing on the outside. So the threat on the left-hand side was immense. And Kobbie was combining very well with Ahmad on the right-hand side. And dropping Eriksen deeper in place of Collier. Collier just keeps it simple. He doesn't want any trouble.
So he's not giving those very incisive passes.
Incisive passes, that's the word. Excellent. But when Eriksen dropped in there, he was fantastic. He was unbelievable. He was just breaking the line so easily. You see, when there was not much defensive responsibility and ground to cover, Eriksen can play in that role. The other day, I was telling you that there's a stark difference between what you would see in Europe and what you see in the Premier League. Because in Europe, the players just don't match up to the intensity of the Premier League, the speed, the legs. It's a completely different ballgame. That's why I was even suggesting to you last week that the likes of Eriksen and Casemiro can play in Europe, but then they can't play in the Premier League. Impossible. It doesn't make any sense playing them in the Premier League. So Eriksen was doing his job. Bruno Fernandes was excellent there. But then the threats that we offered in the second half was so good to see. You could see a bit of intricate play, especially after we got the first goal. Good work down the right-hand side by Kobbie Mainoo. Flashed the ball across the face of goal. And you had your attacking wing back in the box. That's the thing. They're supposed to offer a threat. When you watch Inter Milan's attacking fullbacks, that's ideally how your attacking fullback should be. Sports and Quenda and whoever was playing on the left-hand side score goals and assists. But ever since we started playing the system, I think Mazari had one goal, one assist, sorry, for a cross to
Dalot had a goal.
That's it. And if your wing backs can't offer much, then so it wasn't a surprise to me that a wing back was at the end of it, because that's what the wing backs are supposed to do. I think we'll talk about one important signing that's been made. Finally, I don't have to cry about the fact that we should sign a wing back yesterday.
Again.
A left wing back is in the house, and I'm hoping that he will take to the league like a duck in water and provide that consistent attacking threat down the left-hand side. I'm talking about is it Patrick Dogu?
Patrick Dogu,
Patrick Dogu, Nigerian boy, Danish Nigerian boy. He should come do a job. I think we'll go a good fee for him. The transfer fee is good, under 29 million.
We'll talk about that. We'll just reserve the transfers for the side. So,
but after the first goal, it was just a matter of time before we added more. Bruno Fernandes.
But there was a bit of a scare that strike that hit the upper right but couldn't go inside.
It's just that random chance. If you are counting the number of chances we had, even at the start of the second half, Garnacho hits the post when he should have scored. Bruno Fernandes did hit the crossbar. We had numerous chances. We gave them something. In fact, it's not even considered a shot on target. We hit the crossbar. It's not even a shot on target.
Yeah,
they didn't have a shot on target or
like that strike from Bruno. That was typical. That
was fantastic. Højlund should have scored. Zexi came on, should have scored. Casemiro also should have scored when he came on. Casemiro. It's sad to see him reduced to this because when he came on, you could tell, he's diving, his challenges, he's not reaching. Everything looks so slow and ponderous. And once again, in midweek, our coach spoke about the reason why he's not playing. I felt he should not have said it the way he did. But some people say, okay, sometimes it's good to be brutal and to be honest. Sometimes the players need to know. I don't know which school of thought you belong to. But he said Casemiro doesn't have the characteristics, especially to play in the Premier League. He sees the speed and the intensity. It is the truth. But I'm considering the fact that this is
I'm sure they've had that conversation already. So I'm not sure Casemiro will have a big fuss. I mean,
it depends on. See, I don't think Erik ten Hag. I hate to do this, but I have to throw it all the way back. I don't think Erik ten Hag didn't have a conversation with Ronaldo. But it's one thing telling a player like that,
and the player reacting to,
and then what kind of reaction you get from the player.
That's
for me. I think Casemiro is completely different from Ronaldo in the sense that I think he's self-actualized. He thinks he's achieved it all. It's just about rolling in the bank, the pound sterling every week in his bank accounts. But if I were him, I would be pushing for a move to Roma, as we've heard, or to the US somewhere, because he's not going to play much. He can't just be reduced. I love Casemiro. I've loved his career, but I think he's at the end point, and I wish he would just make a move so that he plays football rather than his United career ending this way. Because if he continues this way, people won't remember how good a season he had in his first. All that would remember him for is he was a bust, and at the end of the day, he was just a busting Schweinsteiger for us, just earning big wages and not playing football. And that's not actually cool, but it is what it is. Speaking about the window, I don't think we're going to do much. So I guess it just sits there. So
let me have my say on the game first. You make me talk about the game. Let me have my say. well, it was good. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed. We played quite well. We controlled larger spells of the game. It was one game that you could see that we were very proactive. We tried as much as possible to, quickly retrieve the ball from them. And when you do that, in Amorim's mind, that's how he wants the team to play, where you don't give oppositions like that the opportunity to even have a sniff of the ball. Because the moment they get the ball, we are fighting back to receive the ball and then try to go on an attack again. And that's one thing that really, I don't know if you noticed the size of the pitch. It was quite huge. So it made viewing very nice. Plus, it gave us an opportunity.
It's a fantastic stadium, honestly. Fantastic stadium.
You could see that the players were able to open up or space up a bit more to be able to stretch and open up passes and do a lot more. We were able to, and we had players who could cover grounds, especially in midfield. Bruno could cover grounds. Højlund could cover grounds. So the moment we lose the ball, we could be able to quickly retrieve the ball and go on another attack. And we had players stationed in between the lines because the people were seated or were very much organized in defense. So Menu and Eriksen were finding spaces, trying to play that triangle from the right and also one on the left to be able to help us open up and create a lot more chances. So, and those balls over the top, which I felt was a very, very good thing for us. So ideally, this is the way you want to play. Calm them in your own half. You could see the possession at some point 70 to 30, 60 to 40.
Almost 80%, yeah. That was like 78, 22 at the point. I was
because they felt that they could sit back and then hit us on the break. But rather, we also had other ideas and how we wanted to.
But then again, Kwame, I think it's the quality.
It's the quality. But Kwame, one thing you need to know is that en route to this game, this team had not lost a game. Not even one. They
have drawn so many games. Yes, they have drawn so many games.
They were almost in the top 8. I don't know if they made it, but they were almost in the top 8. But it just tells you how very organized they are. And we've struggled against teams like that, teams that are very organized and are
I'm just guarding against the fact that we should not get carried away because I don't think they're a good team. Honestly, I don't.
Definitely. I mean, the opposition's quality do count, but I'm just saying we shouldn't just totally discount that because this is a team that had not lost a game prior to playing us in the competition.
Fair point.
It's just something that we just need to put across. And interestingly, I was just checking the table. We are the only team that didn't lose a single game in the group stage. Every other team lost. And that's a positive thing for us. It tells you that when we take
it started off badly, but then I think
with a lot of draws, three
better.
consecutive draws, but we were able to bounce back, starting from root, and then Amorim took over and was able to do that. So it's been a very good group stage campaign. I mean, experimenting this new group stage and how it plays out and everything that has got to do with it. I mean, it was very good to see. So we've done quite well, but there is a bigger challenge. The round of 16, I expect that it's going to be a bigger challenge than we expect. And it's going to be a home and away. It's not going to be just playing one team, right? Just one-legged game. It's going to be a two-legged game. So we are returning back to the home and away thing that we have to play.
Yeah, but I think this time around you'd have the advantage of playing the second legs at home based off the fact that you finish higher up in the table. It's fair. It's fair. If you finish high, you deserve that reward. And unfortunately, we don't meet Spurs up until
the final. So I, in my opinion, I feel they are the strongest team that we could meet. I mean, no disrespect to the other teams, but United can be very funny against all these other teams. So it's very, very important that we get our acts together from that perspective. So generally, it was a good game, not getting carried away, but sometimes you need that consistency of form, that consistency of wins to have some belief. We play against Palace in the next game in the Premier League where they've been a boogie side. We've struggled to even beat them at home. Last season, they came at home and then they had to beat us. So it's not an easy task, but I feel that we will be able to.
You said in your intro we've won 3 games in a row, right? I think this month we've won 5 out of 7. 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. Just 1 defeat, you know. It's been a good start to the year, but then I remember last year,
that's what I'm talking about.
It started like that.
Like this, and then some point it just collapsed all over
again. Scoring 6 goals in the game.
It collapsed all over again. So it's very, very important that we try as much as possible to salvage that. But let's talk about other things. Garnacho came in and was looking fire as well. Created some few chances. Should have scored when he had that opportunity, but it's Garnacho. You would expect him to miss such opportunities and score some.
Frustrate you a bit.
Exactly. It's very, very.
But it was a good assist. Nice 1-2 with Meno for the second goal. Fantastic finish. Fantastic goal. Like he can do that, but at times too.
That's
what do I know?
That's
Garnacho.
That's what Garnacho gives you at this point. But Kobbie, let's quickly switch to a very important aspect of the season, which is the transfer window, which closes very soon. Probably by Monday, the window will be done. As it stands, as you have all come to know, we are signing a left wing back in Patrick Dogu for 30 million plus 30 million euro plus 5 million euro add-ons. He's scheduled to have his medical somewhere over the weekend. So what it means is that he's not going to play against Palace because the medical has to be done. He has to be registered, and so we will not be able to do that. What it means is that we have next week free after Palace. So you have 1 whole week for another set of training.
We play on Friday. Against Leicester City
in the FA Cup. So that's basically how things are at the moment. Maybe it will be a good game to throw him in. But we have to think of some things, the outgoings. I'm going to ask Kwame the outgoings and then the incomings. What's his general expectations of the window before the window shuts? Kwame, talk to me.
I don't think anybody's leaving. I don't think anybody's coming. It's too late in the window for me to have any expectations. Let's be honest. January is quiet. It's always been quiet. Over the past couple of years, what we do is a couple of loans. You know, we're overly optimistic before the start of the window because of how bad the team was for starters and how many changes we needed to make. But as we have come to learn, we've done videos, spoken about this at length. The rules and our financial situation was just not going to allow us to be able to do so. Fortunately, we were able to get Anthony out, get his wages off, and we have been able to replace him and his wages with a left back. A very versatile player in Patrick Dogo. Can play left wing back, can play in Anthony's position as well, which is right wing back. He can play in so many positions, left center back. So it's almost like we bought him because, first of all, he's the cheapest out of the options that we can get because we can't
Remember,
get.
give me my stone. Give me my stone. That was the argument I was making.
Yes, we did say that in our private chat that despite the fact that we are linked heavily with a lot of Premier League proven left backs, even international left backs in Mendes and Alfonso Davies and so on, we're always going to go for the cheap option because we just don't have the money. We just don't have the money. And we have sort of killed so many birds with one stone by signing a player who can play in so many different positions. So yeah, he's young, he's 20 years old, he has a lot of development to do. But that's the thing about a 20-year-old. When you get him, he has all these physical qualities, all these things that you expect. You have to coach. And this coach wants to coach. So it's about time he coaches these players to become better players than they actually are. So I'm not going to cry about a left wing back anymore, at least for the next 4 months, because I still think we need some sort of reinforcement down the left-hand side. We've also signed another defender, Haven from
Arsenal. Yeah, Jaden Haven. Yeah.
Finally, this club has heeded to my plea of not pursuing Jared Brantwaite anymore. I have never been enthused by that player or any links to that player. I've opened my eyes to try and see what you people are seeing. I've never seen it. And it's over. And it's over because we don't have the money. I'm just going to say we don't have the money.
That's the truth.
We have other areas that we have to prioritize. We can't spend 45, 50 million on a left-footed centre back. So the club has gone the other route where Patrick Dogo can play there. If Luke Shaw does stay, because I know it's going to be difficult to move him, despite the fact that we want to move him, he can still play there. Haven can play there. And then Godwell Kokonke can also play there. 16, 17, monster of a 16, 17-year-old. That boy is not 16 or 17, I swear.
He's too big. He's too big for that age.
And then Lisandro Martinez is also looking sharp there. See, incomings, I'm done. We are linked with Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich. If there's a possibility of a loan. But we've already seen that Bayern Munich have agreed with Spurs on a transfer fee. Other clubs are also interested. And we are even looking to move players out before we can even bring him in. It shows you how tight things are in the books. So you are playing a very, very skilled balancing game where there's no room for manipulation or error. But as yourself, who is going to go? I don't think Garnacho is going to leave. I think ideally we would have loved to sell him to Napoli. Napoli don't want to cough up the money because we are asking for 60, 70 million pounds.
I mean, the club is standing its grounds on insisting on the amount that they want to get from him.
Which is fair. It's about time.
Like what they say is that we are not actively selling, but if you bring us an offer which meets our valuation, we will allow the player to go.
This morning I was arguing with Atik in our group that we're not arguing, we're discussing actually. And then we found out that Mudryk costs an upfront fee of almost like 68, 70 million pounds. No, 70 million euros, sorry.
Yes.
With 30 million euros in add-ons, 100 million euro transfer. I'm like, if he's a 100 million euro player and then we're asking 60, 70 million pounds for Garnacho, then I guess it's fair.
It is fair. Order. Even Bayern is asking for how much for Tel? That's over 50 million
euros or something. Yeah. So I'm like, if nobody coughs up the money, there's a need for us to sell, but if nobody coughs up the money now, we can still do business in the summer. Most importantly, I think we need him because there was no sign of a replacement. Tel, for me, as good as he may be, potential-wise, he may not offer us the solutions that we want. For me, I just wanted a body, but I don't think we're even going to get a body. So it's hold on to what you have. Then there was also the issue of whether maybe Malasia may leave and then we can get room to bring in somebody. That's the only thing that I can say. It's a kind of a possibility. Someone may ask, so what about Marcus Rashford? I don't think Marcus Rashford is leaving. I don't think he's leaving.
I mean, the conditions are very difficult. Have you seen the players who are struggling to move? Players on very high wages because the conditions present are very difficult for you to move these players around.
The strongest link is Barcelona, but Barcelona need to move Ansu Fati. They have their own books to also deal with.
They're struggling to even get that normal back.
It's crazy. And the other clubs that are interested may not be willing to cover the wages and all those. It's just complicated. And I don't think his agent has helped him either. Very inexperienced family man who hasn't helped him with the transfer. And so where does that leave him? This is the thing. Ruben Amorim granted an interview talking about the fact that he could do with him, but he needs to set certain standards because Marcus Rashford is not meeting those standards. What I would say is, I think the boy checked out because he asked to leave. He's not probably been training well, as has been widely reported. Yeah. And up until the window shuts, I don't think he's ever going to play. I said he was never going to play for Man United again, but I think what is going to happen, it's a prediction, is if he doesn't leave, he will be reintroduced to the side because he doesn't have any other choice than to buckle up and then play for Man United. But this is the thing. I don't think it's going to end up in positive results because I believe bridges have been bent between him, the manager, the club, and the fans. And the fans, most especially, because, see, Marcus Rashford is not our problem. Our problems are way bigger than Marcus Rashford. But this is what we often do. We are looking for someone to blame. We've not been good since he's been frozen out of the team. We've been struggling to win games. This is probably the most comfortable game that we've won since. Winning every time we win is in the last few minutes. It's labored.
Yes.
But the thing is, we need a lot more to solve our problems.
Yeah.
If he comes into the side and like we are predicting, I'm predicting that he's not going to offer us much because so much has gone between himself, the club, the manager, all that. Fans are just going to blame him all over again for everything that is happening. Whereas the problems go beyond him. All I'm trying to say is it's just going to be toxic if he stays. It's best for him if we can find a solution for him or he can find a solution and leave the football club as soon as possible. Wayne Rooney has spoken to him personally and advised him that it's best to leave the football club now. There's the time for everything. Sometimes you just realize that irrespective of the fact that you're homegrown, blah, 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 you would probably have loved to finish your time at Man United. Gets to a point where everybody leaves and then it's time for you to leave. And even more so when we need to sell homegrown players to bring in money to be able to do more business. He is a prime candidate for being sold based off his wages, based off his form, based off everything that is happening with him at the football club.
Getting him off and getting money for him is good for a business. So
it's good, but it's going to be difficult. Kwame, I don't expect any more additions. I don't expect any more subtractions. The club should surprise me on transfer deadline day by moving either, I don't even see both leaving, either Marcus Rashford somewhere or Tyrone Malacia somewhere and bringing in a forward. I think Garnacho stays. That's just about it.
All right. Kwame, thank you very much. It's been great having you on the podcast. And to you watching us, for liking, for commenting, and for being a part of the podcast with us. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time with us. Kwame, thank you so much. So remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that. Please do. Remember to hit the notification bell so that anytime we release a new episode, you are part of the people who are notified so you can watch it shabu. Right? Very, very important. We'll see you on the next one. That will be after the game against Crystal Palace. And we'll try and wind up with the transfers. If any news is coming or whether there's any deadline day issues, we'll be talking about that here on United and Everything Football. Have a great time. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.